Ladies and gentlemen, there is, as being part of media, we can, sort of take the blame. We are guilty as charged that most of the economic matters are either oversimplified or over-sensationalized. So therefore, it's always a key opportunity for us to hear from the Honorable Governor of the State Bank of Pakistan to put things in the right perspective. So without any further ado, please join me in welcoming the Honorable Governor of the State Bank of Pakistan, Dr. Reza Baqir, for his comments.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Mr. President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good morning. It's a great pleasure for me to be part of this third Financial Crime Summit, and it gives me a lot of pleasure to congratulate the organizers of this event and also the banks, including Habib Metro, others who are here that have partnered with the organizers to first and foremost bring attention to this important area of doing more to fight financial crime. I sincerely hope that the initiative of the President, the Initiative for Artificial Intelligence and Computing, succeeds in its objective of revolutionizing education, research, and business through the use of latest cutting-edge technologies. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, there is a saying that has been used often, especially during the COVID pandemic crisis, that every challenge also brings about an opportunity. Today, we are here to think of how an opportunity is bringing a challenge. And I'd like to, in my remarks, talk about what is their opportunity and what is the challenge. The opportunity that I am referring to is the growth in digital financial services in Pakistan. This is a tremendous opportunity in front of us, in which there has been recently tremendous growth. Just to give you some statistics from the quarter that ended in December of last year, the total volume of e-banking transactions, which includes all sorts of digital means for banking, they grew 24% year on year. The total value of such transactions in that quarter grew 22%. As you can see, these are growth rates well above other rates of economic growth like GDP growth or nominal GDP growth. The number of mobile transactions in this quarter compared to the previous quarter, mobile transactions for banking purposes, grew 147%. The number of transactions through internet portals in this quarter grew 67% over the same quarter the previous year. So you can see these rates of growth. They range, depending upon the measure, at the broadest level of e-banking from 24% to a narrow specific measure of mobile banking, 147%. All of you, the banks, the consumers, therefore, I hope you see the opportunity that is in front of us in terms of embracing digital financial services. The State Bank of Pakistan has been pushing this agenda. In COVID, one measure we took that has been the subject of a lot of discussion was to eliminate the interbank fees that are charged on such internet transactions. That was partly behind also the surge that we have seen in the use of digital and mobile channels for banking. But we've also undertaken many other initiatives to give a boost to digital financial services. Just recently, the Honorable Prime Minister of Pakistan launched Pakistan's faster payment system called Rast. Rast from the word Rahe Rast, with the idea that this faster payment system, which allows payments to be made within seconds, is the direct way to make payments and is also the correct way to make payments, because embracing digital tools for making payments is better than using cash for a whole set of reasons, including the important goal of fighting money laundering and the financing of terrorism and fighting corruption. Similarly, the State Bank of Pakistan launched an initiative unprecedented in the history of our country, an initiative to facilitate the diaspora of Pakistan, the 7 to 9 million strong Pakistanis, called Roshan Digital Account, that for the first time makes it possible to digitally onboard overseas Pakistanis and connect them to the banking system of Pakistan. My purpose of giving all of these examples to all of you today is that the digital financial services revolution is amongst us. It will continue. Therefore, because this is a goal that is extremely important to us, there's no going back. There is tremendous importance of making sure that one of the challenges that digital financial services bring, which is financial crime and the whole host of cybersecurity areas, this is a challenge that we must not let present problems to us. It is a challenge where we have to do a lot more than we are doing, and we have to continue to persevere in this area to remain on top of the game. Now, why is it's particularly important for any country that is pushing digital financial services to be ahead of the game on issues such as financial crime, issues such as anti-money laundering, and so forth. But for Pakistan, it's particularly important, and I want to share why. As you know, Pakistan is in the gray list of the FATF. Pakistan has made tremendous progress in demonstrating how, over successive reviews by the FATF, we have consistently made improvement in the 27 areas that were identified for us. Now, only 3 areas remain which are not considered largely compliant. 24 of the 27 are now compliant. So we have made tremendous progress in this area. At the same time, we are not out of the gray list yet. At the same time, there is a perception globally about Pakistan, given its proximity in the region, given the history that Pakistan has been involved in. There is a perception internationally of our country that is a reality and that we have to deal with. In that context, it becomes all the more imperative for our banks to realize one very important point that I want to leave with you. Any bank amongst you otherwise that does not get a grip on the challenges associated with financial crime, more broadly with anti-money laundering and related areas, any such bank that finds itself that it has blundered is going to cause a problem of image, not only for itself, but for other banks as well, but for the country. So my message to all the banks today is that I ask you to internalize what economists call the spillover effect across banking institutions and realize that if you are not aggressively pursuing this agenda of making sure that your technology, your systems are on the cutting edge, you risk not only bringing problems to your own franchise, to your own brand, but to the brand of the country that we love. Now, as a regulator, what are we doing in this area? Many of the banks are well aware of all the different initiatives that we have underway, the dialogue that we have with many of the banks in these areas. It is an area where we are going to continue to work. One important point I want to mention is that the State Bank of Pakistan is developing guidelines for the banking industry for mitigating the risk of financial crime and compliance. Banks would be required to ensure a cohesive mitigation strategy to fight the risk of financial crime posed to and from financial institutions by using forensic financial transaction audit, big data analytics, and artificial intelligence to contribute to this agenda. State Bank has also provided an IT governance framework for its regulated sector and encouraged the use of cloud technology. Now, while as a regulator we continue and will continue to use our regulatory ambit to ensure that banks are meeting certain minimum standards, another important message I want to leave with the banks is that think of it as the minimum that you have to do. It would be much better for you to think of ways in which you can do more and come to us as a regulator where you have ideas where you think the regulator can do more. Just as during the COVID crisis, when the State Bank of Pakistan undertook a number of measures for stimulus for the industry, where the State Bank of Pakistan constantly kept an open door to feedback from the industry, from the banks, we are open to your feedback. If you bring an idea to us, our response is not going to be no until you prove to us that it's good. Our response is going to be we are open to any and all good ideas. So come to us where you have ideas for going beyond the standards that we have set. And lastly, I want to end on a note of striking an appropriate balance, especially for countries like Pakistan. While it is imperative for us to continue in the fight on financial crime, it is also very important for our banks to ensure that we also take into account the pain, the hardship, the problems that are caused upon innocent people when artificial intelligence, other technological means miscategorize them in a financial crime or a suspect category. Often cases have been brought to my attention where simply because of the name of a person and because that name happened to be, or some parts of that name happen to be the names also of a terrorist, people, genuine people, have had issues. In economics jargon, we call these false alarms, as opposed to missed crises. Missed crises meaning where there is a genuine suspicious transaction which was not noticed, and the false alarm being it was an okay transaction but got classified. So I will ask everybody that while we have to pursue this goal, at the same time, be cognizant of the risk of false alarms as well, so we don't unnecessarily cause pain and hardship on those amongst us who are living an honest living, doing honest banking, and for some reasons opaque to them, get classified as a suspicious transaction. In the end, I want to thank again the organizers for holding this event. I am especially grateful that the President honored this event with his presence, because again, the holding of this event and the presence of the President of Pakistan at this event is meant to give a signal, and the signal is of the importance of us to continue the fight in this area. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.